What's going on, good people? You know what time it is. A special pop up episode today. We got a little thing going today with training camp, and we're also going to do a little bit of a comparison. I had myself out at the Jets training camp today and Thursday, so we're definitely going to get into it and compare that to the Falcons training camp. But like I said, before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button on your way in. We got you covered. You either get right or you get left. Let's go.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on, good people? You know how we get down, as we say, you either get right or you get left. And you're right about now. Tuning into the cage. We got a few things we're going to do today. And we're also going to open this up for fans today so they can come in and talk about how they're feeling about camp. But the first thing that I have to talk about today, and many of you've seen on my timeline, man, all I can say is it was an amazing event that I was able to be invited to the New York Jets training camp from one of the former first female scouts, and Miss Connie Carberg, who's Birdcage alumni, which we had the pleasure of interviewing her on the show. Went up to Florham Park, New Jersey. Definitely a great vibe. And the funny thing is, I actually saw a former Falcon and Mr. Eric Coleman, who played safety for us from 2008 to 2010. So, I wasn't the only dirty bird up in there. He played with the Jets for a bit in his time, but he also he pretty much started around when Matt Ryan first got to the team. Also, got to give a special thank you to Miss Connie Carberg for inviting me there. Also, one of the gracious hosts that was there as well was longtime Jet enthusiast as well as film producer, former lawyer, Mr. Jonathan Cody. John, thank you for a great time. And also, got to give a shout out to a player that's there, Mr. Sam Jackson. His mom, Miss Jennifer Jackson, was definitely awesome today. And also Miss Lisa Carberg, Miss Connie Carberg's stepdaughter, who also was a great host. I appreciate you guys for just bringing me in, showing me some love. It was more like a family environment also when you look at camp. Now, from the camp standpoint, it's in the boonies. It's out in the middle of nowhere, not too far from New York, but it's in an area where it's literally a nice area right across the street from an institution. Now, I will say this. When you get there, it's an interesting place. You got your football fields, of course. You walk through, they have the pop-up shop where you can buy jerseys and everything else. And they have the meet and greet, of course. Every team does it. They have a meet and greet where you can meet the former players or former legends of that organization. Fortunately, I was able to meet Mr. Eric Coleman the first day I was there. And then I got to give a shout out to Duval County one of the best football players to ever come out of there, Mr. Lavernius Coles, aka Trouble. If you're from Duval, you know who Trouble is. A great football legend with the Ribault Trojans. Shout out to those boys over there around the way. Also got to meet Mr. Braylon Edwards today, Michigan legend as well as New York Jets legend, and it was an amazing event. Got to meet those guys, got to talk a little football with them. Outside of talking football, I looked at the footage that we've had. I've been to a Falcons camp before. The energy is unmatched. So I went Thursday, the first day for the Jets camp, and then I ended up going today. So Thursday was a bit of a mellow practice, but when you talk about energy, living in the Northeast is a little different. But I will say this, they showed up and showed out today. But I still got to take my Falcon fan base. The energy is unmatched. You saw that we came in droves. The hill was literally covered with Falcon fans this year. I will be there next year. But just being invited to a great place and a great environment, you can see the difference from a coach. Aaron Glenn hasn't even been there for a full year, and this man has already had command of this team. You look at Raheem Morris, and Coach Morris is definitely trying to get some things squared away, but you got to understand, when you have a former player that is your head coach, and not just your head coach, was a top draft pick, is one of your franchise's best players at a position on the field that was being a great corner. Aaron Glenn was definitely a solid and a good corner during his time in the league. But when you look at what he did coming in, he ended up getting Steve Wilks, a guy that a lot of us wanted to come to Atlanta. He brought him in. He saw the value. He's worked with Steve Wilks before. Now, that's no disrespect to Jeff Ulbrich, because guess what? Raheem Morris did the same thing. This is the comparison side. Raheem Morris brings in Jeff Ulbrich, a guy that he's worked with, a guy that he trusts, and a guy that he loves to have on staff. And he's not worried about him doing anything wrong, because let's be honest, Jeff Ulbrich had a number one defense with the Jets 2 years in a row when he was in New York, when they were bad. Robert Saleh was just not a good head coach. It wasn't organized. Everything was out of whack. Let's be honest. It was pretty much the way Jets fans were talking about Robert Saleh was the same way that we talked about Arthur Smith. This is why I said I wanted to do a compare and contrast show to tell you what differences there were and pretty much what was similar. The one thing that I could say that was similar, you could tell the regime change. You could see the attitude. You could see the organization. You could see how things really were. When you have a Parcells disciple, such as Coach Glenn, very serious, even during his playing days, from what Ms. Carberg was explaining to me, he was very serious player. Didn't play the radio. Football was everything to him. And he exemplifies that. You see it in his confidence. You see it in his swagger. He doesn't have to have catchy one-lines. He doesn't have to be that type of guy. He's going to be genius. And let's just be honest, he's a kick-ass type of coach. Now, with Raheem Morris, Raheem's more of a player coach. Let's just be honest. A lot of guys love to play for him. They play hard for him. Now, you have two different coaching styles, but the one thing that you can say that both of those guys have in common, there's a major respect that's in common. A major respect. I want to welcome everybody who's tuning in, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, better known as X, and also on YouTube. Definitely appreciate you guys for coming on. But when you look at the comparison, all I can see is everything that's going on with this team. You can see that Atlanta is bringing in a hunger with the Falcons. The same thing I saw with the Jets today. You see guys running through the hole. You see guys not tiptoeing. You see guys, and this is how you know the culture has changed. When you see guys taking the stretch line serious, the stretch line, ladies and gentlemen, they don't BS around. They scrimmage today. And I mean, pads was popping. A lot of good shots out there, a lot of things that went down. got to give it up to my guy, Arian Smith, University of Georgia. Got to shout out a Bulldog. When you look at his struggles that was at Georgia, he had struggles of holding on to the football. That was his problem. Now that you know that your job is dependent on it, you're going to catch everything because guess what? You got bills to pay now. You're not on scholarship anymore in there, and they don't have to keep you. Now, he's a special teams ace. Now, the one thing that I paid attention to that's very similar to what the Falcons are doing right now, a lot of guys that have talent to be able to play on the field, they're fighting for jobs as special teams aces at this point. They're fighting for jobs because everybody's not going to start. Everybody's not going to get on the field. But when you look at the intensity level, it's picked up. And for us to see the intensity level picking up with our team, it's always good to be able to compare other camps if you get an opportunity to see it. And the one thing that I can say that I truly respected about the visit that I had, it was just good energy, positive speech. And then you had the realistic fans out here. And a lot of the realistic fans that were out here, they were speaking on the fact that we got to make sure that we have this. We got to make sure that we're in a position to win ball games. And these are season ticket holders, just like us. The same way that we look at everything, they look at it. And it's not much of a difference. Just going to be honest with you on that. It's not much of a difference. And the one thing that I got to give them, they ride with their squad when it's bad. Now, we can't say that about this. I've been a Falcon fan for over 20 years of my life, and I'm going to keep this a buck. I've never seen fans that ecstatic when that team was just that god-awful. They're like that every year. They might talk trash. They might say things that will make you think, but the one thing that they do, their loyalty does not sway. But I also have to remember this. They don't have a bunch of replants and transplants in the city like Atlanta does. You got a lot of New Yorkers, you got a lot of transplants that come there, but most of your transplants that come there are either Giants fans or they convert to be Jets fans. There's no in between. Now you got those rat fans and Cowboy fans, and yes, I said rat fans because they pretty much are still looking to try to get some cheese, and they're horrible. I can't stand Dallas Cowboy fans. They just like roaches. You turn on the light, you see a ton of them crawling away when you beat them down and put some light on the situation. But you let them sit in the dark in their delusion, they're going to piss you off. But the one thing that I can say that was very consistent was the passion. They got some strong, passionate fans, man, in that fan base, just like the Falcons do. So if you ever get a chance, visit other training camps, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. It's okay to go see other teams. You might see something you like. And then when you look at the recruiting side of things, you could possibly see a future player that might be playing for your franchise. Prime example, John Abraham came from the New York Jets to the Atlanta Falcons and became one of the best pass rushers that we ever had in Falcons history. So again, you never know who you're going to be looking at. You never know who's going to be coming in and who's going to be doing some things. Now, the one thing that I saw, Justin Fields looked good, but I know it's practice. But the one thing I can see is a few things changed. They have 3 quarterbacks that are athletic and can run and can play. We have athletic quarterbacks minus Kirk that can run and that can play. We do. Penix is the man that's going to be holding this thing down this year. But at the same time, you have to have your backups ready. One guy that I wanted to come to Atlanta, but New York got him, was Tyrod Taylor. A lot of people give him grief. Tyrod Taylor is a very, very serviceable backup. He understands that his starting days are out of the question unless something happens, but he's still got a lot of football to play. He was one guy that was a very talented guy that just caught bad breaks. But, I'm glad to see that he's doing well. Out there performing, looking like the young Tyrod that we saw that was coming out of Virginia Tech before he started dealing with the injury bug. So looking at everything as a whole, it's a lot of similarities. It is a lot of similarities. The one thing that they have over us is they got a Super Bowl. And they did it during a time where the AFL was seen as a bush league of football players, pretty much amateurs, pretty much ranked amateurs. That's how they saw them. But when you sit back and you look at how they changed a lot of things, it literally opened the door for a lot of things with that organization. One of the biggest things that Jets organization was heavy at, and I still advocate this for this organization, they never stopped bringing in HBCU kids. They still are doing it right now. You know, one of their return men right now is definitely going to make the squad. Can't remember the young man's name right off the bat, but he went to Tuskegee in South Alabama. And when you talk about the speed that he has, he could have played on the SEC level. You saw the talent there. But again, you're talking about a guy that's coming into a situation to where he wasn't drafted. He was pulled in, and they're looking at trying to keep him. And I think he's going to make the squad, just like we have our undrafted free agents on this team. The only thing that's different is management from coaching. That's the biggest difference, ladies and gentlemen. So looking at the Falcons, we're not in a bad spot. We got a lot to work on, but we're in a very good spot right now. And I can honestly say, I see a change is going to happen in New York. If they get their offense right, that defense has a bunch of playmakers on it. There's one thing I can say. You don't get to be the number one defense in the league 2 years with Jeff Ulbrich, and you don't have playmakers. One of their playmakers retired. We got Fuller. They came from Carolina. He also played up there for the Jets. And right now, Fuller's fighting for a job right now with the Falcons. He'll probably make special teams, but he's fighting to get playing time. So looking at the Falcons, and I'm getting ready to transition into it, and then I'm going to open this up for the fans to come in here and talk. Let's be honest, man. The Falcons have actually signed pretty much defensive back, excuse me, Grayland Arnold of the Houston, pretty much he played for the Texans, and he also played for the Philadelphia Eagles. However, the young man, he's 27 years old. He's appeared in 26 games. He had one start entering the league in 2020. That was, of course, around that time, around COVID. Arnold mostly is a special teams ace. That's really what he is. He is a cornerback, but he played 79% of the team's snaps on special teams in 2022 and 60% in 2023. He's definitely a guy that is going to be solid, but as the veteran defensive back that he is, he's only recorded 33 tackles, 20 are solo and 1 forced fumble, and that's over his 4 seasons. So if we're looking at it, you're talking about a guy that's going to be a special teams ace. You've got to have guys that can create turnovers or guys that can make plays on special teams to pretty much affect the third part of the game. Everyone forgets about special teams. Now that we got the kick return, it's modified now. You still have a chance to make plays. You still got to hit, run, and tackle. Might look a little funny, might be a little funny, but same concepts apply. Catch ball, run ball, hit ball carrier, and move on. Or hit ball carrier, make them fumble, recover, let your offense have an opportunity to put points on the board. That is what this young man will bring to the Falcons, but we still have to see if he's going to be consistent. He's a special teams ace. Yes, he brings depth as a cornerback, but he might not touch the field. You might keep him as a guy that's going to be a gunner that's on your punt team, or he's going to be a hit man on your kickoff team, or he's going to be a very great blocker on your return team. These are the parts of the offseason a lot of people don't want to talk about, but special teams is one of the most important bases of a football team. You got to sit back and you just got to think about it, man. Jackie Slater's son, who played for the New England Patriots for years, ended up becoming one of the best special team players in the game. As much as it hurts, he was on those Super Bowl teams that won rings. Now, when you look at another legend, Bill Bates, Dallas Cowboys, safety, solid player, then became a special teams ace. for the rest of his career. So those parts of the game we can't overlook. Those parts of the game are very important. You affect so many nuances of a football game with momentum swings and different things that are allocated to a team's success. So I see what Coach Raheem is doing. I see what Terry Fontenot is doing. They're not just building the offense and defense, ladies and gentlemen. You brought in Lenny Craig to give Mr. Koo some competition. Again, when's the last time Atlanta's had real competition on this team? Just saying. Right now, here's another thing. Darnell Mooney has cemented his place on this team for what he can do. However, he's got competition. He's got competition behind him. Now, unfortunately, he got hurt. Now, go back and look. Mooney's been injured a few times in his career in Chicago. They brought in DJ Chalk, high potential. Had injury problems, but who's to say a change of atmosphere doesn't change that? Just like you saw how Mooney was explosive last year, we saw Darnell Mooney perform like he did when he was at Tulane, not the guy that was in Chicago that struggled. So I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, they're going to continue to keep bringing in competition. Nobody's job is safe. Michael Penix's job is safe. You pretty much can say Drake's job is safe. But there's a lot of competition on both sides of the ball. Kobe Bryant was spotted with getting reps in with the second team. Now, this is an undrafted free agent that is moved up getting reps. That's huge. How many times do you see an undrafted guy move up that fast? And yes, he's cementing his spot on special teams, but how many guys do you see do that? That's my question. You know, Kobe Bryant, to me, is going to be our Marquise Bell on this team. And anybody that watches this show knows that I'm high on my HBCU guys. Marquise Bell came out of FAMU, but transferred from UCF and now has commanded a very good contract from the Dallas Cowboys for a guy that was an undrafted free agent, and he's getting into the rotation. So looking at what we can possibly bring. These are guys that should have been drafted, but looking at what we could possibly bring to the table with some of these undrafted free agents, it's amazing. And training camp is just the start. We still got to get through the preseason. Yes, we love the fights. Yes, we love everything. But all I'm saying is this. We have to get through that point. So I'm providing the link if you want to come in and you guys want to chop it up and talk about some of the things, because we got some topics I'm going to touch on for the not just the preseason, and also just some things that need to be addressed even with the fan base, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're rolling with right now. That is exactly what we're rolling with. So I just provided the link. If you want to come in, come in. I already know Will gonna bring his happy ass in here, as always, and I'm fine with that. Axe handle Will, as we call him. But I'm just saying, I see a lot of similarities, and I see a lot of things when you talk about this team. There's a few more teams that I'd like to check out in training camp live, because, I mean, hey, I'm going to the Falcons next year. I didn't come this year because, again, came off of vacation, and around the time that the Falcons training camp took place was when I came home. Now, Jersey is right up the road from me, so it's not that far of a drive. So I really wasn't hurting and had to plan for it like that, like I would coming back home to Atlanta. But just having that experience, just try it. Maybe 1 year. I know you want to support the Falcons, and it's okay. We all gonna support them all year. Go check out a rival camp. Go check out a camp somewhere else or from a team you might be interested in, just to see what a camp actually looks like elsewhere from what you know. I mean, it was just a great experience. And if you're a football fan, let me make sure I put this out. If you're a football fan, a diehard football fan, do it. Now, if you're just someone who's not a true football fan or a student of the game or a fan of the game, I get we support our teams, but if you're a fan of the game, support the game and educate yourself and get to see different places. You never know. Never know who you run into. Never know what opportunities that come from there either. Great networking opportunities. So for those who are out here in business, social media, that is also a place that you can have a good time. You never know. You just start a conversation. It's an amazing, amazing atmosphere. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, JPJ still is doing his thing, but there was an interview recently with Bijan Robinson, with Ryan Clark, Mr. Crowder, and Freddie T. Bijan spoke about Nate Bergeron being a beast and coming into his own. When you sit back and you hear that clip, when you hear him say, Nate is the best guard in the game, but that one right there, he's making a name for himself. I've been saying this for the longest. Said it when he was drafted, said it before he was drafted. Nate Bergeron is a man amongst boys, and his attitude is starting to mention. I mean, it's starting to get into that. You look at what he got into with JPJ earlier this week. Hey, we have no more choir boys. I'm fine with that. No choir boys allowed. Keep them out of here. Nothing wrong with the choir boys, but they don't belong on the football field unless you Reggie White or the legendary Southern University legend, Pastor Aeneas Williams. Just saying, the meek don't inherit this turf. And when you look at some of the greats that play game, you got to have a little bit of craze and a little bit of nastiness in you. Even if you are nervous, can't be nice playing this game. Just saying. But when we sit back and we look at these young defenders, the thing that Bijan Robinson talked about, if you saw the interview, he said Darnell Mooney's a guy that definitely is underrated, and he feels as if Mooney is one of the best in the game and is better than a lot of the receivers that's in this game now. Now that came from Bijan. And I tend to agree with him on that. Mooney was a guy that had a lot of high upside coming out of Tulane. But that upside slowed down and was hampered by injuries in Chicago. He got to Atlanta and he started to take off like a rocket. Now, here's the question I got for those in the crowd here. We all want Kyle Pitts to do well. I'm just using this as an example. We want him to do well. We want Arnold Ebiketie to do well. Here's the thing. What if Atlanta isn't the place for them? What if Pitts wants to be here anyway because he got a quarterback now. I think he's going to do well this year, and I'm praying he does. Arnold Ebiketie, I think the competition is going to push him, but if he can't at least get 6 or 7 sacks this year with the type of defense that we have, he got to go. You know, you've been here long enough, man. You got to go. You have weapons on this defense. You have no excuse. You're one of the fastest guys on this defense. And, you know, please prove me wrong, because I said when you was drafted, you ate because of that man that's up in New York. I'm sorry. The man that's trying to leave the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sitting here mixing him up with Abdul Carter, because when he left, Abdul Carter was coming in. But Micah Parsons is the reason that man ate when he was at Penn State. Go back and look at the film. Parsons has been that dominant since his inception of playing Pop Warner ball in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As I said before, it's something in the water with these athletes up here. Now, hopefully Kyle Pitts can go to that fountain and drink a little bit of that water this year. But when you look at Michael Parsons, DeAndre Swift, I mean, I could name many athletes that have come out of this city. The legendary Herb Adderley, Hall of Fame corner. You know, when you look at some of these guys that have come out of this city and as athletes, Philly folks are different. They play with a chip on their shoulder. They play with heart. Kyle Pitts struck back in the media recently. I like it. I like it. Now I just need you to back it up with your game. I love the fact that you talk back and you got in your feelings and you said, well, they can't come out here and do what we do. I agree. Some people don't get to that level. That's the reason why some guys can't do what you do. Some guys don't get that opportunity. Some guys get hurt. There's a 1 point, and me and Miss Connie Carberg talked about this earlier today, and this is a woman who's a professional scout and actually broke this down. 1.7% of all college athletes make it as professionals, no matter what the sport is. 1.7%. 1.5% make it out of high school to get to college. And then when you get to college, there are some that just don't transition well. And then there's some that just don't get their schoolwork, or some that get in trouble beyond the point of recognition of help. You have to understand, folks. Yes, he's a part of that small percentage. It's hard to get to that level. Now, I'm going to say this, and y'all can take it how you want it. The best talented players don't get off the corner, or don't get out of their small towns or high school. That's a known fact. Some of the greatest players that could have been the has-beens didn't get out of there. So again, he's right. Everybody can't do what you do, because there are a lot of guys who don't get the opportunity. So when guys get an opportunity like you have and many others, why sit there and throw a fit? I understand he was coming off the injury. I'm just using this as an example. Now I'm talking about Arnold Ebiketie in this too. You guys got to an elite level, and it's hard. It's hard on that level because everybody was All-Americans. Everybody was this. But for you to be the elite of the elite, not just showing flashes, you've got to be able to come through and produce. I understand we all have faith in the players that we like, and we want players for our team to make it. But the reality is everybody doesn't adjust to the NFL. Now, you've seen flashes of some of these guys, but the question is it like a Roman candle, or is it like a steady candle burning in the night without burning out? That's the question. Steady and consistent, as I always speak on this. Depth and preparation. DNP. My two words I've been harping on recently. You have to have depth, and not just with the talent on your team. You have to have depth in your workouts, your off-season conditioning. You have to go in deep. You have to do things that people can't do what you do. You've got to train. You've got to put yourself through hell and high water, because you're playing a game that pain is temporary. Pride is forever. But that pain sometimes can last you a lifetime once you walk away from this game. So the moments that you have playing this game, you've got to take every opportunity and every advantage that you have, because the game is a small part of your life. So I look at it from a standpoint of, I want my guys to do well. I want the guys who come to Atlanta to change the culture, because we've been bad. We have been horrible for over 50 years. We've had seasons sprinkled in, but we don't get a respect. And I was in the X space earlier today with, some Broncos fans, Seattle fans, and a few other folks just running off at the yap. You know who you are. I'm not going to name you. I'm cool with you, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. You tried to take shots at the Falcons, which they were legit shots you took. And it's okay, because it was true. Now, there's a new regime here. You're saying Falcons gonna Falcon? Okay. Let's talk about it at the end of the season, because Atlanta has put themselves in a position to actually have what we call depth and competition. And the preparation that has been taken this offseason, this is why I'm getting with this P. The preparation that was taken this offseason was to build this team so we don't have any more midseason collapses like we've had. My thing is win the division. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it. I want a piece of Seattle. I hope you're good enough to get to the playoffs. You know, I want you guys to get there, because when you get there and you got to play us, we're gonna put our foot in your ass like we did in 2016. Period. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. It's okay. The 28-3 jokes, I got it. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Been dealing with this, since it happened. We lost. It is what it is. We've been going through purgatory, but you pretty much saw what we were doing. We're coming. I just hope that you're on the same level as us when we get there. To address the other thing about this team, I love the fact that we have fight. That is something that we've lacked for years. We have some players that have fight. We have some guys who actually got a heartbeat, and they're not a walking corpse. I love it. I love it by the pound. It's at a point now where we just got to prove it. We definitely got to prove it. And as fans, it might not be perfect when it first starts. It's a process. We might start off slow, might start off fast, then start slowing down. That's the joys and beauty of the season. You never know. But who's to say? It's all gas and no brakes, like the 98 Minnesota Vikings. Just saying. Now, the one thing that I think that's going to separate us is if we have our pass rush, because they're going to come in waves. The strength of this team, and I know people want to say Penix, I know people want to say the offense. The strength of this team is on the dark side of the ball, on the defense. The more turnovers you create, the more opportunity that you create for Michael Penix Jr. to produce, for Bijan Robinson to get over 1,000 yards, for Kyle Pitts to become that 700-800 yard tight end with 6 or 7 touchdowns on the season. Darnell Mooney and Drake London becoming 1,000 yard receivers. We have to generate turnovers, and we have to be able to garner a backbone during the season when stuff gets rough. Looks good when we're going against each other, but can you do it when somebody has a different color jersey on? That's what we're going to be looking for. Now, the other thing that you have to also look at is whose identity are they going to take on? Yes, you have the head coach. Yes, Jeff Ulbrich is the D coordinator, but whose attitude are they going to take? Because I'm not comparing us to the 85 Bears by no means at all, because we are nowhere as good as that. Just saying. That team on game day were together, loved each other, they fought for each other, but during the week, man, you could charge admission of how good practice was and how they beat each other down. They talk about it. It's legendary. That defense literally stood tall for Buddy Ryan. And they respected Mike Ditka, but they didn't play for him. Go look at the documentary. Here's the question. Does this defense play for Raheem, or does it play for Jeff Ulbrich? I know those guys are going to work together, but let's be honest. The defense remembers what happened last year with Jimmy Lake. They remember what was brought in and how guys were frustrated. Are you going to allow Jeff Ulbrich to turn this defense loose, or are you going to pull the reins back and kind of keep him hampered? It's a lot of things that we have to look at. And here's the other thing I'm going to ask. Are we going to trust this guy? I trust Jeff Ulbrich when it comes to forming a defense. Now, the stuff that happened with his son, off the field situation has nothing to do with me. But I will say this, though. I'm going to look at you side eye because coming from a military background and having to deal with certain things that are not supposed to hit the general public, let's just be honest. You have to do a better chance. And I think he's understanding that, but you have to put yourself in a position where you safeguard the important things. And that right there is critical, because if anybody knows how you think, knows how you function, you pretty much are done. You pretty much are done. And it's well known that NFL teams steal. Everybody does it. We do it. The stinking bagheads do it. Everybody does it. The question is who does it the best and who adapts. So I just hope that they have a clause now in that contract that he has to keep top secret stuff to the vest. The draft helped cover a lot of that stuff. But now that the dust is settled, we still have people who don't trust Jeff Ulbrich 100% because of that situation. Defense looks good, but can we trust you when stuff gets bad? But outside of Jeff Ulbrich, I think the other thing that I'm really looking forward to competition-wise is the kicking game. Like I said, I'm speaking a lot on special teams today because I got to see a lot of that today. The kicking game. Are we going to keep Younghoe Koo, or are we going to give it to the young pup, Lenny Craig? Lenny hasn't kicked in the NFL game yet. It's a lot different when you're kicking in shorts and a t-shirt. Looks good. But can you do it in a game against men that have car seats in the back of their car, alimony, and pretty much, child support, divorce papers, mortgage, retirement? It's different when your job is on the line. Can you be consistent? Because your leg pretty much gets guys paid, keeps guys employed, or ends the season or continues the season. That's how critical that kicking game is. We got to see what's going to happen, because Younghoe Koo at this point, he's been dealing with injuries and it's not been good, but the NFL stands for not for long. If you can't stay healthy, they're going to get somebody who is going to be healthy and kick the football. If you can't stay consistent, they're going to get somebody in here who's going to be consistent. If you can't win games for them, they're going to replace you with somebody who can win games. So I would love to see this team just come together this year. The talent is there. The will to win is there. But the effort has got to be there when stuff goes bad. It has to be. And it starts with us as fans. It starts with us. If we can actually be consistent with not turning on this team, not hanging heads when stuff goes bad, or, it's the same old fight. No, ride it out. At the end of the season, you do that. Don't get so fanned out to where we might have to get you sanitary napkins or whatever to soak up your feelings. Y'all can take that how you want to. That's as sanitary as I can. That's as clean as I can put it without saying what I really want to say. But I think Atlanta's in a great place. I want to go visit some more camps. I got to really say we have a situation to where you have to really dig down deep as fans, because you're excited now. Can you be as excited and can you ride with this team when nothing goes right? We've seen it. We saw it last year. We saw people turn on this team last year. They got excited when Penix got in there, but when we lost the Washington game, I saw tweets from people, and I also saw posts in social media from folks saying that, man, I'm done being a Falcon fan and blah, 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 blah. Like, no. If you're a fan, you're a fan. Be that all the way around. We in America, so you got freedom of speech. It's okay. But the thing that you have to understand when it comes to having that freedom of speech, understand that other people are going to have freedom of speech to be able to talk about you too, about loyalty. I already know people are going to talk about me, good or bad. It's okay. They talked about Jesus Christ, and that was the perfect man. That was the only perfect man in the world. So all I'm saying is ride it out. If you are a fan, be a fan of this team. I love the enthusiasm right now. I love the fact that we got the energy. But is that energy going to be the same if we lose a heartbreaking game? Is that energy going to be the same if Penix goes down, knock on wood, or if Drake goes down or something happens? Are you still going to stay the course, or are you going to fall off? Roughs and going back to my military days, and I know this from being, and people try to clown the Coast Guard, but guess what? We go out and on Davy Jones's locker. Say what you want. We're not just on the coast. Understand, we're in the middle of the ocean. So let me put that out. Rough seas make great sailors, because guess what? You've been battle tested. I know that firsthand because I'm one that walked on water with Jesus. I was one who did go through those type of storms, even as a petty E2 and an E3 is someone close to me loves to say. You petty little E3 or E, I was an E4. I finished out as E4. Had some stuff to go on. Should have been ranked higher, but hey, young and stupid. But when you look at it, when I say I walked on water with him, I was standing watch in hurricane storms outside in the storm. People have to stand on those bridge wings when it's rough. So, as I tell people all the time, being a Falcon fan is like sailing into the eye of the storm in a hurricane. That ship is going to get tossed. It's going to get turned upside down. It's going to pop back up. The fantail is going to go back and get covered in water. The bow of the ship is going to get, and the bow of the ship is the front, by the way. The bow of the ship is going to get covered in water, and you're not going to see it. But what you're going to have to do is focus on the chart that is in front of you. Not map, chart. The Falcon season is charted out. The way that you navigate through this season with this team, temper your expectations slightly, because you got a quarterback that's really going to be a rookie this year. And you have to trust the course of your navigators. Raheem Morris is the captain of this cutter. We don't call them ships where I come from. We call them cutters. So for you Navy sailors, y'all can take a seat real quick. I got this cat by the tail. When you talk about cutters, it's a reason they call it. It's the reason they call our ships are called cutters is because they cut through the water. They cut through. They're built for that. They're built for aggressive weather. This is why we say, man, we're built different. Everybody clowns us, but we're built different. And definitely can tell you a lot of people can't even fill our shoes. It's just like the Falcons. Falcons are looked at as like the Coast Guard. Everybody else flexing, talking all this mess, but we get looked at as the redheaded stepchildren. Just being real. We get looked at like the redheaded stepchildren. No respect. But the way that this team is built, bunch of tough, salty, sailor type mentality guys that's on this team that they're getting ready to sail through a hell of a course. And I think that they're going to go 11. And this is just me. The ceiling for this team is 11-6. The worst that we go is 10-7. Those are my expectations as a fan. Now, as a host, I need to see it. But as a fan, those are my expectations as a fan. So now I can put my host back hat on and let's talk about it. Depending on how we play this season out, we're going to be in a great spot to do some things. But the first 5 weeks of this season is going to tell us a lot, because we got a gauntlet. We have a gauntlet in the first 5 games of the season. And when you look at the Atlanta Falcons and you got preseason coming up, you pretty much look at what's going to happen. But the first game, you start off with the Tampa Bay Bucks. The second game, you get the Minnesota Vikings. Third game, you get the Carolina Panthers. The fourth game, you get the Washington Commanders. The fifth game, you get the Buffalo Bills. We literally are going through hell. We are literally going through hell. What's going on, Boogeyman? Appreciate it. My father was an airborne ranger back in the day, did his thing jumping out of planes. And also, grandfather was a screaming eagle, man. So much love. I'm an Army brat, but I'm a coastie, baby. So shout out to those boys on the ground. But thank you. But when you look at those first 5 games that you're going through, you're going into the eye of the storm. You're going into a hurricane. You are literally getting ready to see what your crew is made of. Because guess what? You got all the training. You got all the funding. You have already prepared. You've already secured your ship for sea. Right now, with the preseason and the offseason and training camp, this is the period that we called when we were getting ready for sea. You're securing for sea. That means you're getting all your rations for food. You're getting everything that is going to suffice you while you're underway, while you're trying to complete your mission. I have to be careful with some of the terms I use because some folks won't understand it. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can. And you have to make sure that your ship is seaworthy. That cutter's got to be seaworthy. You're going to have to cut through the first 5 weeks. If you can get through the first 5 weeks of this season with either 3-2 or 4-1 or possibly 5-0. Yeah, I know I'm sounding fanned out right now, but I know that's a lot to ask. But guess what? It can happen. You get past the Bills, I don't fear San Francisco. That's week 6. Then you get the Dolphins. Then you get the Pats. Then you get the Colts. The Falcons really don't have an easy road to hoe. They don't have an easy road to hoe. They don't have an easy path to get to the playoffs. They don't. It can be done. You don't spend money like we spend the offseason. You don't bring folks in here like that. The Falcon season is going to be tough, but it can be done. And you have to believe in the fact that they're going to prepare this team for it. Now, if they don't, and they don't get it done, you might see a new captain of the ship because Raheem's not going to be here. Just saying. Myles Garrett said it on many shows. He said it on this podcast. He said it on Smitty's Time Machine. He said it even on the radio when they've talked to him. So there has to be a consistent flow with this team, and it's gonna be pretty much full throttle right out of the gate. There's no slowing down. Now when you get your bye week, that's pretty much what we call your BSF. Pretty much where you're gonna unload the trash, get some more ship supplies, your food and things like that to survive out on the water. But that is going to be your preseason. That is going to be your bye week for guys to get healthy. And then once you get back in the fight and you get back in that storm, you're going to have a long road to hoe to fight throughout the season. So I'm not going to keep going on about it. I just like what I saw at Jets training camp. I like what I saw with the Falcons. And it's not much of a difference, except the fact that they have a former defensive back who is a hell of a player that comes off of the Parcells tree and demands respect off the rip. He don't have to say anything. Respect it soon as he steps 10 toes down. Well respected and well connected, as my man E40 would say. Shout out to the Bay Area, by the way. I'm sorry. The Yay Area. I'm just joking, but I got to cut up a little bit. But I think we have a good chance to do some things. And after seeing another team's camp and seeing how they operate and seeing how they run, I think we got a shot. I think we got a shot. And Will Wood bring his ass up in here right when I'm getting ready to wrap up. Nah, come on in here, man. What's up?
No, what's up? I was seeing what you was talking about. You was taking headlines on with the Jets.
Yeah, I was out there. I got invited to training camp. I was gonna say it was like I said, it was a very different environment when you talk about um how Coach Aaron Glenn has that team from first stepping foot on the field. You know who he is because of what he did with Detroit. But a
Yeah,
lot of guys that's playing now don't remember him from his playing days. And when you talk about his playing days, he was an elite corner when he played, by the way.
yeah, yeah, most
So
definitely.
so when you talk about how he commands respect in that locker room, players love him, but there's a fear as well with that respect. Now, the question is with us, we got a players coach.
Hmm.
Now they play hard for him. Let's not sit there.
Yeah, 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 most definitely. Yeah, I don't think the Jets people sleep on the Jets. I think they're gonna get it all on every player team. They're gonna get it all.
And remember, they also took Steve Wilkes or whatnot when you talk about the Jets. That was a guy that we all wanted here, but then they ended up bringing Jeff Ulbrich here. Now, this is what I was going to also bring up, but you just got in before I wrapped the show up. Jets fans were pissed when Ulbrich left, by the way. They were pissed, but they also understood that Aaron Glenn was going to bring his own guys in. That was the other thing. Just like Raheem did. Raheem brought his own guys in. So if you're gonna live and die by something, you're gonna live and die by what you bring in. So
Correct.
and listening to those guys, listening to the fans, Miss Connie Carberg, and talking to some of the players that were around that were talking to the fans, they all said Jeff Ulbrich is another guy that's well respected and well connected. And they all said, we saw what your defense was like last year until Jimmy Lake started screwing it up. And now
Yeah,
that Ulbrich has a defense like that with two young bookend edge rushers, and you got an Ebiketie who's starting to figure it out, and Zach Harrison and Dorless and these guys and Trice, they all said y'all pretty much got a track team to get to the quarterback. That's really what we heard them say. That I heard them say today.
oh yeah,
And here's a question for you, Will. Now, the one thing I paid attention to, the Jets actually got about 30 of you. I saw that today. Now, Thursday it was chill, but they got 30 pink slip wheels out there.
yeah,
I heard some fans in the stands was like, hey, you know, yeah, he can't be dropping passes like that in the game. He gonna get up out of here. Like, well, I mean, this is training camp. It wasn't brutal, but when you heard little comments, you just laugh because you say, man, I really thought my fan base was rough. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, it's a business, man, and like you said, it just this year we don't have no excuses. Terry Fontenot did a phenomenal job in the free agency, and going in on defense is up to the coaching staff. Like Zach Robinson got to be better in play calling situations, and I'm not really worried about Jeff Ulbrich. He want his team fired up, and just Raheem just got to learn how to call timeouts and make adjustments during first half and second half and during the game. So I just want him to interact with the players this year. That's all I want to see. Some improvement.
My thing is, I want to see him you take the pressure off of Bijan and really let Tyler Algier eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
I agree.
because, because you don't want to run him into the ground. Bijan is
No,
bad.
no, you
You
know.
don't want to run him into the ground.
No, I think, be honest, I think we regular season we need to limit Bijan Robinson carries at least close to 35 or 40 between that range. Like he don't need no more than 40 carries. Like I say, first half, second half, get him the touches. Then when third quarter come, when we down defense, when this is a team, when we put them up early in the game, we need to use Tyler just to round and pound, so put defense so they can be gassed up and tired. Because nobody don't want to see Tyler, and I think he got quicker and faster. I heard in training camp right now. And like I said, man, they saying Xavier Watts turning heads. I really our whole rookie class and Billy Bowman. So I salute the Terry Fontenot and the coaching conditioning to get this team fired up this year. I think this is gonna be a different Falcon this year. Only thing I don't like this year is the new the NFL kickoff rule. They need to go back how college is, cause they taking the fun out of the game, man. Like, I don't agree with that.
I need to ask you something.
Yeah.
Where the hell are you at? Because I can
Oh
barely see your face. Are you in a monastery right now?
no,
'Cause
no, no, no. I'm in the room. I'm in my room. Cause like my light ain't working, so I gotta go out and I probably gotta go in the I probably gotta
it's
go in the kitchen or something so you can see me. My bad.
all right,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
my more better.
Looking like, man, look,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
hot.
I was in the room because it was raining earlier, so now you can see me more better. But
I
yeah,
was about
though.
to say, if you hiding out for somebody, man. Look, you
No,
already in the camera.
nah. I don't gotta be at work until 5 o'clock in the morning at Walmart. Then my next job, 8 to 5 at the warehouse. So I'm blessed, and we got to do some things that should. Hopefully, you will be at the Falcon game party when we play the Commanders. So I'll be there. If you need a ticket, I go on game time and pay for it, so you could go. Just hit me, inbox me if you need that.
I got you. I'm
Yeah.
definitely, but one of the games I know I'm for sure going to. I'm going to the one up here. They got Falcons come up here to play the Jets in
Oh
November. No,
yeah, yeah.
that's a few
I'm
days
glad
after.
I'm glad you remind me that because I know you kind of closer in that Philly area. I'll be there for sure because I just got to I just got to drive from Savannah to Atlanta, then fly from Atlanta to Jersey. So man, we could do that, man. Because I know you a hard worker. You got other stuff to do too. So you ain't gonna be able to go to every game. So yeah, man.
I got a
Yeah,
few.
most definitely.
I got a few I'm trying to hit up this year, but
Yeah,
that's one for sure I want to hit up or whatnot. Because I know you get to see two premier defenses go at it, and you get
yeah,
to see two quarterbacks. Like, and here's the scary part, and a lot of
yeah,
people try to trash Justin Fields. I've heard people on other shows do it. And the funny thing was, he's actually got a quarterback coach that's done work with him. His release looks very different, and it's a lot quicker. And he's actually got receivers. But I know practice is one thing. If he
yeah.
can do it in the game, think about it. Look at what he did last year in Pittsburgh before he had to sit on the bench. He had them with a winning record.
Yeah, I just didn't like what he did when they put Russell Wilson, even though because I feel like Justin Fields deserved it. He put the work in. I don't feel like they should have just let Russell Wilson just take the man's spot. And that's why I like his fresh starting with the Jets. He got his alumni, Garrett Wilson. And
Yep.
people got to watch out for the Jets. The Jets can sneak in the
Yeah,
playoffs too, and the Patriots.
I'm gonna
So
give you this.
Buffalo,
AJ Terrell goes against Drake London every day. We've seen clips of that. I
yeah,
got to see Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner go at it one on one. And here's the thing, they go at it every day. They practice
yeah,
against each other every
yeah,
day. Like
yeah,
in every drill, they matched up with each other. No, I want you. I mean, and when I say you hear the trash talk, you
yeah.
hear it.
Iron sharpens iron.
And so that's my thing. And Sauce is very outspoken. I love it.
Yeah,
Sauce is one of them corners that's gonna let you know. Now, when he get beat, he's still gonna talk.
yeah,
Now, him and Wilson, it wasn't really bad banter, but they were letting each other know like it was a pass that Wilson
yeah.
had in his hands and had his feet. Sauce knocked it out of his hands.
Yeah, yeah, cause
I mean,
you gotta have that ball security. Yeah, sometimes
he
with
had
out there
no,
with
he had ball security. Sauce just made a great play. He couldn't
yeah,
do
he knocked it
anything.
out. Yeah,
And
yeah. It probably was kind of a little sleepy raining out there because it rained down
no,
here.
it was dry. It was
Oh,
nice
okay,
and dry both times I went. Now, the one thing I
okay.
say about AJ, and I see the similarities, Sauce is more boisterous than AJ. That's the difference.
Yeah, I feel like with Sauce Gardner, he's more a physical press, like shut down corner, like line up the scrimmage. AJ kind of little more zone, and
AJ's one of the best corners in the league. The problem was he didn't have help on the back
yeah,
end, except for Jesse
yeah,
Bates, and he didn't have a pass rush to help him out. Sauce
hmm
has a pass rush.
yeah.
Sauce
That stands
basically had
out.
help.
Correct,
So
correct.
it makes his job a lot easier to lock down the number one receiver or to travel with the number one guy. AJ has not had that. And now that we have a pass rush, if this ever gets to a point to where it transitions to something that's really good, let's be honest, AJ could definitely continue to move up the chart as one of the top corners in the league. They just don't
Yeah,
talk about him because he plays in Atlanta. But if he played
yeah,
in New York, he played in Washington, he played anywhere else with the numbers that he's put up since pretty much last year was his return back to prominence. If he put those numbers up any other year, man, he would literally be talked about like
Yeah.
salt. Or,
Yeah.
but just to be honest, the best corner in the league is in Denver, Pat Surtain Jr.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. I gotta give him
Yeah,
credit too. Patrick Surtain is that dude lock down. You not throwing it away. And I see him guard shut down Jamar Chase, and that's a hard wide receiver to guard. Because AJ Terrell had problems when they played them against that college. All I need is AJ Terrell need to work on his technique and turn his head around to get more interceptions. I know pass deflection is good and all that, but we need interceptions and tackles for loss and more tackles, sound tackle, and more interceptions. We be good because I know that I believe this front seven will get it done. It's just up to him. And one more thing before you close it out, man. I just hope you say Mike Hughes. I know we got him, but I think Kobe Bryant will take his step. I say probably right end of the year, going close to next year. If he
I
learn our
love
playbook.
I love Kobe, but the only way he gonna get that job is if Hughes get hurt. He ain't taking
Yeah.
Hughes' job.
Yeah. I agree with you on that though. I just feel like Mike Hughes need to be honest with himself, saying he need more turnover this year too. But all I
Kobe
said
is
I
my guy. I've
yeah,
been rocking with Kobe since he was coming out of high school out of Alabama. I'm
yeah,
just glad University of Alabama didn't get him.
yeah.
Because
Because
if
he
he,
probably got drafted. Yeah,
I mean, yeah. And when you look at what he did at Kansas, being an All-American majority of the time he was there, that's not easy to do at
yeah,
all. And
yeah,
he
most
played in
definitely.
the passing conference in the Big 12 when he was
Yeah,
there, passing conference. So when you look at it, he can play the pass, but he's also very physical. He's just not. He's gained some muscle, but I think they gonna get it. They gonna get some more weight on him. But man, I mean, the kid has it's just something about his game that's just very different, and a lot of people really don't see.
yeah. And I wish we could have got Christian Gonzalez like that was at 2021, even though that was 4 years. I think it was 2020, I believe Christian Gonzalez was available, but we decided I don't know who we drafted in 2020. I think we got Drake London. But I wasn't mad though because we need the wide receiver. But man, the sky's the limit for this team, man. We just gotta stay healthy, play consistent football, and stay in the present in a moment. We can't look ahead about the schedule. We got a tough one. So like I said, at least because 11-6 or 10-7, like you said before. Cause like you said, Carolina, I ain't for you ain't like Carolina. They got some defensive player. Like I
I
ain't trying to
told
estimate
you,
them.
you
They got some defense though. Nah, I had to look,
you
cause you know
tried
what I'm
to
saying.
argue with me with that, and I've been trying to tell you. I said, look, they quietly building a roster over there because you don't draft a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who actually
Yeah,
is good. Bryce Young is a really good quarterback. He just
yeah. The O
man,
line got to hold up though. It's just the O line. It's just the O line, and it's all about their defense. If they got enough of playmakers to execute, that's the thing. They got to put all on the field. But I expect them probably be like third. But like I said, any team get beat any given Sunday, so I can't sleep on them like that either. But yeah, we definitely got to chop it up me at this game this year. So like I said, it got me on the messenger. If you need any game tickets, I'm here, bro. I'm off on the weekends. I got the weekends off.
appreciate you, my guy. Kool
Yeah.
Aid, you got Lenny Craig that's coming in that's doing something. Go ahead and get your last few words in because I'm finna shut this down. You late. You
I tried. I
you
tried, man. I had to run the errands, but I just wanted to get in here and let you know I was really trying to make the show,
no
man.
look. Life happens. This is just a pop-up show. But
Yeah.
I got to get you like I did Graybeard last week. That man hitting his late as a check in the projects on the first of the month, but it was
Hey,
right on.
look, better late than never. Everybody, Birdcage fans and listeners out there. Hey, look, I was trying, but a little traffic out here, but I got in at the last second. Good to see you, Pink Slip,
What's up,
Historian,
man?
everybody out there for sure.
What's good?
What's up, man?
So we were wrapping up or whatnot. I pretty much talked about special teams was a big thing I talked about. Talked a little bit about depth, and I also talked about the similarities between the fan bases with the Jets and the Falcons. The only difference is they got a Super Bowl trophy. That's it. Other than that, when you talk about heartbreak, anger, and different things, they've dealt with a lot of it. But the difference is this. Now, we mentioned this last week about the transplants coming to Atlanta and you not really having the true Falcon fans in the city like that because you got so many people from elsewhere that's in the city now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Those Jets fans are deeply rooted in northern Jersey and northern New York. So it's one of those things where it was nuts to see how their fan base interacts. K-Dub, like, I'll be honest with you, they're a tough group. I got to give it to them. They tough.
Oh
it's
yeah, I
it,
mean, yeah,
it,
every fan base is gonna be a little different.
hey,
So
they're welcoming and whatnot. They're very welcoming. But the one thing I got to give them is they're very tough when it comes to, hey, they yell out stuff at their players and they don't hold back. I saw that firsthand.
well, hey, look, I mean, it's good that if you got a chance to see a different culture and a different team, go at it. Give us some insight on what they're doing in the AFC over there at Jets camp. I'm sure that's a good experience. As long as it's football, it's still the same kind of thing. It's cut from the same cloth. I'm glad you had that experience to go up there and check it out, man. See another aspect of it, another coaching staff, and a different organization going in.
Now, the best thing I would say, K-Dub, is when you sit back and you think about you're looking at different players and different things of that sort. They're in the same boat as we are right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The difference is they got a guy that played in the league that's leading that team, and he demands respect the moment he steps foot off that bus. I'm sorry, the moment he steps foot in that facility. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So when you look at what he demands in that facility, it's real different when you got a guy that did it, and he did it for Bill Parcells at a high level during his career and was very good at that cornerback spot. And then you look at what he did in Detroit. I got the same, and Jets fans were, and I said this earlier, and I'm filling you in on this. Jets fans were pissed that Jeff Ulbrich was let go by Aaron Glenn, but they're okay with Steve Wilkes, but they wanted to keep Ulbrich because he had a number one defense 2 years straight. So with me putting that information out to you, how does that make you feel as a Falcons fan when you have another fan base who is distraught about a guy leaving?
Well, like I said, man, I'm happy because we got him and we had a personal relationship because you got to think before the Jets had him, he was here. So to be honest with you, I feel like he's more of our guy than their guy. So it was a tug of war. Like I say, I feel like it really wasn't a tug of war because right when we offered him a chance to come back to home to Atlanta, he came on back and ready to hold arms with Raheem again. So, like I said, man, I'm ecstatic that we got him. All the reports and everybody, all the interviews coming out of camp is that the defense is flying around. They really like the concepts and the new defense that they've integrated here in the Atlanta Falcons offense. I mean, in the Atlanta Falcons organization with him coming aboard. So I just wanted to see it on the field, like I say, not their snippets at camp, but be able to see it in a full game and see those guys go ahead with the pads on. So I'm ecstatic, man. I just want to stay healthy. I'm gonna say this every show because that's the key to anybody's season. I don't care what team it is out there. If you don't stay healthy, you can't do anything. So continue to stay healthy, continue to build on this roster and build depth. And I'm ecstatic for Brick to be here, man. I just want him to keep that fire in his belly, and the rest of the coaching staff and the rest of the defensive coaching staff, and Coach Rudy and Coach Ali and all those guys, man. Continue to keep that fire in their belly, keep drinking 20, 30 cups of coffee like they're talking about, and keeping those guys fired up because it seems like that's the kind of coaching that they like. Not no laid back coaching, but coaches that's in your face and energetic and passionate about what they do. So just continue to keep that momentum, man. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him to be back. I hope he gets this pass rush going. We're one of the top 5 pass rushing teams in the league. You flip that number from being one of the bottom pass rushing teams to one of the top pass rushing teams. And I think that right there will elevate our team to the playoffs and beyond.
Man, and lastly, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Congratulations to the 2025 Hall of Fame class. First off, we got to give a shout out to Georgia's own, one of ours from the state, Mr. Sterling Sharp. Should have been in the Hall of Fame long time ago. And a lot of people saying, well, he didn't do this. Here's the thing. There are only 4 wide receivers in NFL history to get a triple crown. Only 4. Jerry Rice, Sterling Sharp, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase. Those are the only guys. Other than that, you have nobody else. You have great receivers. Julio never did it. And you got great receivers who were in the league. Randy Moss never did it. T.O. never did it. So if you go back and look at Sterling in his prime, I'm gonna give you this. When you have Deion Sanders, you got prime, one of the greatest of all time. He said, I don't want them problems. If you don't believe me, go back and look on YouTube with Sterling Sharp, pretty much when Deion was talking about Sterling Sharp or whatnot, and it's the funniest thing because when Shannon Sharp talked about it, he said, no, I didn't want them problems. And so he always said, leave your brother out of this. And that's the funniest thing. So I'm going to play the clip for you real quick. Fair use, just so you can see when you had one of our own that played him and a few times he played him, Sterling gave him hell.
Yeah,
So,
Sterling was a beast, man.
And my cousin, shout out to Sam Taylor. We're going to have him on the show, former South Carolina Gamecock, and also personal trainer to a lot of pro athletes and just wellness around the city of Atlanta, Clarkston. And a matter of fact, hey, and he's also Clarkston alum, K-Dub. So,
that's what's up, man. Angora Pride.
So fair use. This is what Deion Sanders had to say about Sterling Sharp.
Hey, got it. Lead, brother.
Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin, Sterling Sharp. Y'all ain't getting nothing.
Got it. Lead, brother. I did this now. Lead, brother. Hey, he said that. Sterling, I ain't got nothing to do with that. He said that. Your brother's too big and strong and physical.
We ain't talking about
hey, man, look here. First of all, if you back off him and he catch a hitch, who gonna tackle him? And then you get up there where he can grab you, he getting every slant he want.
That is pretty much prime, letting you know how much of a beast Sterling was, ladies and gentlemen.
A dog.
And hey, rightfully so. And here's the other guy. I got to give respect to another defensive back who went into the Hall. He was just as good as Prime. They just didn't give him the love that he should have gotten. And even Prime said that. Go look at his timeline on Twitter. Go look at all his social media. He talked heavy about Eric Allen, one of the best corners in the game that finally got into the Hall, that was a leader on that Philadelphia Gang Green defense with Reggie White.
Yeah, he was very cerebral.
And Tony Gates, literally, he and Tony G were the best at the position at that time. And then, Jared Allen, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like there were some better candidates, but I'm not going to crap on him. He was a solid player, but in my opinion, I don't think that he did enough at that point to get in that fast. I think he was a Hall of Famer, but not as fast as he got in, if you get what I'm saying. So it's many guys that should still be in it, but the criteria changes every year. So we don't know what's what. But congratulations to all these gentlemen for becoming a part of a team that you can't get cut from. You can't lose your job for. You're going to forever be in Canton, Ohio. So when you're dead and gone, everybody will always see your bronze bust, and you're going to forever live on in football lore. So respect to all those Hall of Famers that got in. Congratulations. We definitely respect it. And if you haven't had a chance, check out Sterling Sharp's touching speech that he had for his brother Shannon. So Shannon's going through some stuff right now. And as being a big brother myself, because I have younger siblings, I can tell you up front, it makes you feel good to see, in spite of all the drama that's going on, whether he caused it or not, we're not getting into that, for a big brother to step in and take some of that pressure off of him and still give him his flowers in spite of everything. So respect to Sterling Sharp. Definitely appreciate you showing love to your brother during one of his lowest times at this point. So that was very commendable. I don't commend the action of your brother, but I commend you stepping up as a big brother, being there for your brother. So So, Will, we appreciate you coming through, my guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate you, Will. Had to come in for me, help me out.
Man, I just appreciate you coming through, even if it was for a second, man. You know,
Hey,
we all
look, you know, hey,
yeah.
I was trying to get to the you know how that traffic be sometimes. So it is
Man,
what it is. I got here never better late than never. Got a chance to speak on the Falcons. It's always good to talk about the season coming up. I'm so excited. Can't wait for these preseason games to be over when it gets to the live bullets. But you know, one step at a time. We got to build our roster and figure out where we're going to cut the fat at, and who's going to stay, who's going to leave, and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's one step at a time, and get these guys ready for week 1.
and we also want to thank those who tuned in tonight. It was a pop-up show. Normally we don't do pop-up shows on Saturday, but after everything that we, pretty much everything that went on, I went to training camp and I wanted to talk a little bit about it because, just to have boots on the ground, to know what the Falcons camp is like. I know what my camp is like, but to experience another training camp, that was a hell of an experience. And I suggest if you're a true football fan, go experience it. If you got a chance, if you're anywhere else and it's an open practice, just go. If you have the means to do so or the opportunity, always go, because it's definitely a great experience. And trust me, you get to see how other fan bases react to everything that goes on, and you get to listen to how the chatter is. So definitely appreciate, again, Miss Connie Carberg for allowing me the opportunity to come up, and also Mr. John Cody that provided the ticket for Miss Carberg. And I appreciate those 2 days. It was amazing, and definitely look forward to trying to come to the Jets Falcons game November the 30th. Definitely want my boys to get that dub, but it'll be an experience either way. So thank you. But K-Dub, I'm gonna catch you next week, my guy. Appreciate you. And those who are just tuning into the chat, if you missed the show, please tune in. Definitely got some good jewels in here for you. And around the end, it was pretty cool having Axe Handle, aka Pink Slip Will, in the building doing his thing. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. And we will catch you on Bumper to Bumper maybe this week. And also check out Thursday at 8 p.m. Normal show. As we say in here, you either get right or you get left, man. We'll catch you then. Ghosts.